Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Gaming Golf, the Travelers Championship Preview and U.S. Open Review Edition. I'm Jeff Erickson here with Jeff Ritter from Morning Read and SI Golf. Jeff, how you doing? How was your U.S. Open?
I'm doing well. That was a fun U.S. Open. Primetime golf is pretty amazing on East Coast time. I'm Central time. Most of our staff is East Coast time, but it's grueling on an East Coast edit staff. You know, with the late nights and stuff. But I don't know. I like a West Coast U.S. Open, and I thought it was pretty funny. You know, Torrey Pines, it's not really in the pantheon of great U.S. Open courses, or at least it wasn't before last week. But it's 2 for 2. You know, you can't take away what it produces. It may not be. It doesn't have this series of really majestic, memorable holes that you just like set your clock to, but it's delivered 2 really, really great U.S. Opens. So for that, I would say let's go do it again in 6-7 years, right?
It reaches. It also hits the very, very short list of U.S. Open courses that I've played. So therefore, I already have an affinity for it because of that. I think it's an awesome course, and I love how they set it up. I think if you listen to all the golfers coming off the course, they're like tough but fair. They set it up well. It's possible for the USGA to not set it up well, but they did a great job doing so this time.
Yeah, not as much player carping, which is like a U.S. Open tradition unto itself. But I don't know, this time, it was tough. Winning score, 600 par. There's not, there were train wrecks all over the place on Sunday, which is kind of what you enjoy, in a sick way, right? Is like you like the possibility of a crack up happening at any moment at a U.S. Open. But guys could squeeze in a few birdies too, like Jon Rahm at the end. I mean, he was so close. He was around the cup all day with so many putts, and then all of a sudden he drops 2 at the end to just grab the tournament. So no, it's funny that Torrey was never. It was tough, but you never felt like it was anywhere close to the edge in terms of playability. Tee to green. So
yeah, never once did you hear lost the course. You didn't hear that at any point. Jon Rahm, finally gets his first major, came up huge at the end, hit the birdies on 17 and 18, got really lucky on that drop with the fence. That was a big, big moment in this tournament to me.
It was huge. Yeah, you get a little bit of luck in any major champ. Probably, to win any pro golf tournament, all these guys are so good. And, more often than not, you're talking about a one-shot victory. So where you can save one shot in any number of ways. But that drop was huge. And just really, he made 2 big bending putts the last 2 holes that, how many times did he burn the edge in the final round leading up to that? It felt like he had 5 or 6 that you were just like, oh, if that had dropped and it just misses. And then all of a sudden he gets 2 to go and, and flips the script, and Louis Oosthuizen is watching this all in front of him, the horror unfold in front of him. And
poor Louis. Poor Louis. I feel so bad for him. He played so well.
He did. It's sort of, I don't know. He was great. And if Rahm doesn't make those 2 putts and Louis somehow keeps the wheels on and wins by 1, we'd all say what a deserving win, to hold up under that. But at the same time, somebody who's been runner-up that often in majors, you kind of saw it at the end there. The mistakes that he made were bad mistakes that just took him out of a chance to make that 1 birdie, just to give him a chance to make 1 birdie. And with that, his tee to green game is generally, among the top shelf on the PGA Tour. So for him to just kind of lose the plot with tee shots at the end like that was nerves. That was the pressure.
Yeah, 17, and it happened at the team tournament in New Orleans where he hit that slice into the water in the playoff.
That's right. Yeah. I heard about that. Yeah, that's a good point. So
well, he's on my team in our league, so of course I remember all these transgressions. But then again, I haven't had a win in that league. I've had like 3 seconds, including at the PGA and the Open with Louis. But and that it's only Louis, by the way. DJ is falling apart on Sundays now. It's tough to watch. But again, Rahm passed DJ as a world number 1, and he's been the better player for a while now too.
Yes, he has. And I have to say, I was shorting Jon Rahm after the Memorial thing. I thought maybe just too much coming off of there. You were looking at a Sunday cruise control victory, and then you're withdrawn from the event. You spend X amount of days in quarantine. I would assume in the state of Ohio, I can't imagine how horrible it would be to spend extra time in Ohio that you didn't have planned previously. So I just thought
there you go, your Michigan comment there.
I'm gonna get one in per show. I just thought there was maybe too much going on, with him going into that event, and I've been proven wrong. He's tough, and it's just like he's tough. He's one of those guys that it was for a lot of the early part of his career, it was about controlling that anger. He let you see so much of just the flashes of the temper and the aggression. But at the same time, there's something about him though, like channeled properly, he has no give up. He's a guy who's he's just gonna fight through everything. And you kind of look at these are golfers I like, but look at Rory McIlroy, look at Bryson, what happened to those guys on Sunday, not that they gave up, but they're just, I don't know.
Sucked the air out of their balloon, though. Totally.
They faced adversity and did not handle it in the same way as Jon Rahm. Let's say it like that. Both those guys have won majors and are proven champions as well. But there's something to be said for the guy that just has no quit, and that's really what you need in a U.S. Open. And so for Rahm, that's what I saw, maybe that in a way that I'd never even seen before. I mean, we've all seen the blow-ups and the temper, but just it was all like just channeled in there. He was so locked in because he had all those short putts or those kind of medium length putts miss coming down the stretch until he got to those last two holes where you almost wonder if he's going to snap the putter. Jon Rahm 3 years ago might have kind of lost it, but the Jon Rahm, the new dad, Jon Rahm, did not. So
I think there's something to that. I really do think there's something to that there. And I think, he went through COVID, losing that. He didn't blame others. He didn't, fall apart after that. He easily could have snapped after that too and didn't. And, I think there's a newfound maturity in him, and it happens, and it's really impressive. One other note, Scott gave me a note to talk to you about this guy, and that's Justin Rose. I think you knew this was coming, but unfortunately, that one didn't work out quite as well.
I would say that's a fair summary of how that pick works. Sometimes I like to go off the grid a little bit, or just a little bit under yin where they gang. And sometimes when you do that, when you step away from kind of the herd, you can just get run over by the caravan coming the other direction. So that was a surprise. I didn't see that coming, and that was not a good pick. And the good news is, I don't think I could make a worse pick this week. So
no, probably not.
Probably not.
At least not so stridently. How about that, right?
Yeah, I know. Well, I sort of talked myself into Rose throughout the episode, and as Scott gave me numbers suggesting that perhaps that was not the strongest pick, I just sort of dug in, and that would be, that's one for Scott. He had Rory, which was certainly a better pick, but that's also a frustrating way to lose your pick, is have your guy play his way in on Sunday and then just sort of parachute out just when it starts to really get into the fire. So
I had a DraftKings lineup with Louis, Rory, Colin Morikawa, and one other that I had a really good lineup. I had 6 of 6 make the cut. I was like, yeah, this is really good, and still was good. I made money, but at one point I had Paul Casey also, and then they all in the back nine kind of lost the plot for a while there, except for Louis, who just kind of hung in.
And you can't you got to have the winner, right, in those pools if you're going to make the big money, right? I mean, you just can't.
I went from winning $700 to $250. So it dropped quite a bit. Big time stakes here. I'm a small time player, but one more thing we can't not talk about Bryson. I mean, this guy was winning the tournament. He nearly aced number 8, got to 6 under, and just had an epic back nine meltdown. And he didn't call it a meltdown. He's like, I'm happy with how I played, but oh my goodness, bogey, double, and then a quad later. That's a meltdown. Yeah,
the way he described it was interesting, where he said that he felt like he had gotten a lot of good breaks for 3.5 rounds. As he just hit, his strategy was clearly hit it, go get it, hit it to parts unknown, get some lucky lies, or find trampled down ground, or just.
I saw that comment about that. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was fascinating for him to just say, I'm just going to hit as far as I can and just take my chances. And he felt like at the end, he got some tougher lies. I mean, obviously shoot 44 on the back nine. there's a mental thing happening there beyond just getting, the ball buried in the rough for the first time in 3.5 days,
Right.
It was revealing, it was revealing. And certainly Bryson, he was the defending champ. He might very well win another US Open, but that was a surprise to see him play his way up at the top and then just eject, all the way right out of the top 20 even.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what did you make of it? To me, I'm surprised. First of all, I'm surprised in the field this week.
Me too.
Yeah.
But he's got a great history at River Highlands. And so that's a good bridge. Let's start talking about the TPC River Highlands and the Travelers Championship here.
Yeah, let's see. Has Bryson withdrawn? I just want to make sure. Sometimes we've gotten burned on this a couple times on these shows on Tuesday afternoon. Not yet.
Not yet. I don't think he will. I mean, if you look at his history at this course, I mean, it's really, really good. It's a really strong history. So I kind of look at it from that as a starting point there with him. And this is and this course as a whole, it's always right after the U.S. Open, except for last year because of the weird COVID schedule. But if you look at what he's done, T6, T8, T9, T26, T47 in his last 5 years there. But this course and this tournament treat their players well. The players like the course. It's a good soft landing after a grueling U.S. Open. Par 70 course, 6,800 yards. It's not going to beat the crap out of you like Torrey did lengthwise. You don't have to be a monster hitter, but obviously it's worked for Bryson here too.
Yeah, the only thing tough about this stop in Connecticut would be like the real estate prices. If you're looking to buy nearby, that's it. Everything else is pretty free and easy. Like you said, par 70 seems to fit a certain profile. It's interesting though that Bubba Watson being the all-time leader in money won. I think he's won 3 of these before, if I'm not mistaken. And then Kevin Streelman this is like one of his honey holes at the same time. So you can kind of it's become this like much like Harbor Town, following the Masters, this kind of like just let it out, free and easy. And if this course fits your eye, you got a pretty good shot at making money, as it does Bryson, Bubba, and certainly DJ as defending champion. You might think this could be a get right week for him also, after also kind of playing his way up into contention at the U.S. Open and then not so much. So a lot of possibilities. Good field. I mean, I was
going to say that too. 156-man field, 5 of the top 10, 11 of the top 125. Keep going deep. You can find some names you like in almost every tier.
Yeah, I think it'd be hard to put the lineup together without picking off one of DJ, Bryson, Koepka this week. I think those are tempting. I suppose you could go the other way and go Cantley, but I don't know. The DeChambeau Revenge Tour is tempting off this top tier for me. The fact that he played his way so closely up to the top that maybe he just needed to take a breath. Certainly the course fits him well. He's probably my favorite off the 5-figure guys in DraftKings. What about you?
I think he's strong, but I think I'd rather pay for 10-7 for Brooks, save $400. Brooks hit the ball fine last week. He just missed a few putts is the way I look at it. You look at all of his, shots gained metrics, things of that nature. It comes out pretty well. Shots gained total was, I think he's like 3rd in the last 24 rounds. Off the tee approach, top 5. He just didn't putt. And it's like a lot of these guys, you just got to make some putts every once in a while. And I think that's going to be the case. Whereas Bryson, I mean, around the green, he can be a little shaky sometimes. And I think this is a course where they grow that rough pretty tall, around the green particularly. They have smaller greens. I think I might fade Bryson this week and save a little bit of money. Last week it worked pretty well not having anybody in 5 digits, but it's tougher this week to find it, especially because it's a bigger field. But I think Koepka will be lower owned, and I think he might outplay Bryson this week. So that's my lean.
I just wonder if what happened to Koepka is in some ways a little more damaging than what happened to Bryson. Like, this is 2 majors in a row now. Koepka's played his way into contention, and just kind of like that invincible, steely reputation he'd been building as the closer, the guy you don't want to see on Sunday of a major. Oh, it's 2 in a row. Just couldn't get anything to drop. I mean, he played well enough. I don't know. I think maybe that's one player's kind of reputation is too strong, but just standing in the game or status, or certainly you play yourself into contention every major. You can't win them all. You're going to have some, that go wrong. But I'm starting to watch this with Brooks a little bit. Why aren't those putts dropping on Sunday? Like you said, he had chances and just didn't make anything. So I don't know. It's a good pick. I'm with you. I think he'll be lesser owned, but I'll still go Bryson off this tier and take my chances with get back on the ride.
All right. Plus, of course, there's always going to be the framing of the telecast, Brooks versus Bryson, if they both happen to be in contention. I really want to see a round of them together. I think that
has to happen. I don't want. I feel like if it doesn't happen soon on a tour event, we're going to end up getting it as like a contrived match. And this is going to be.
I don't want that either.
I don't want that. So I want this to just happen in a real event, and let's see.
And not a Thursday or Friday pairing either. I want them to earn that matchup together. They're contending versus each other.
Yeah.
I think that'd be ideal.
I think some of this, to me, it feels a little WWE. I think they probably they had a little moment caught on camera. Maybe they don't really like each other, but do they even really know each other? It's just a little probably locker room thing. But they both leaned in. Which
they sure.
How genuine it is, I don't know, but it's fun, and I want to see more. So,
well, isn't there that incentive program to get more engagement in social media and all that? And I want to talk about a perfect platform for that.
This is that's good that you brought that up, because we certainly can't overlook the fact that the members of the PGA Tour are literally incentivized to create buzz and social media discussion and just kind of be part of the conversation. The tour created this program. It's very clear to keep kind of their most popular players at home and fend off this rival tour. So you got Tiger, Phil, Rory safely, in the nest, but they're paying 8 spots, and that's 5 left. And then you figure there's a lot of things you could gin up if you're a Brooks Koepka, who's maybe not a fan favorite, but can lean into the villain role and find find an accomplice in Bryson, who's much the same. Maybe he's, probably he's polarizing, and they're a good match for each other like this too. And they may be both compensated handsomely at season's end for their efforts here. We'll see.
Yeah. And without a doubt, golf is more interesting when both are playing well. And when both these guys are contending and playing well, tournaments are more interesting, without a doubt.
Yeah, rivalries. Golf is good. Rivalries are good for golf, and animosity is good for golf. And even if it's a little contrived, this is the modern day, this is now it's a social media feud and these stupid viral clips. That's what a rivalry looks like in 2021. Then so be it. We're talking about it, and we're thinking about how fun it would be to just see it. They may be right. It is good for golf. We're talking. It's fun to consider, what these two would do when put together in the same group. So
absolutely. All right. Enough about Brooks versus Bryson. The other two guys in this 5-digit tier are Patrick Cantley and Patrick Reed, 10-4 and 10,000 respectively. Cantley's got good history here too. T11, T15, T15 in the last 3 tournaments. Once shot a 60 as an amateur here. This is a guy that this course obviously fits his eye. He's in great form, won the Memorial, wasn't contending at the Open, but other than that, there's a lot of things going right with him, and yet there's not as much buzz about him. I still think he's pretty darn good, darn good as well, and might be lesser owned than these guys.
That's a pretty good call. I just have this. I've mentioned it in past podcasts that I just tend to overlook Patrick Cantley. I don't know why. He just is always in this tier with the buzzier names, and he just kind of quietly puts up the results. He's now, for a while, it didn't seem like he was really winning enough. Now he's got a couple big name, highlight reel victories. And it's just it's time to take the next step at a major, but this would make sense for him too. He was around, contention last week, I believe. I'd have to go back. I saw him on the weekend at some point.
We saw him. We saw shots of him for sure. Yeah.
He made the broadcast. But I would say probably lesser owned in these type of games still, right? He's probably still, if you're picking off that tier, tempting Jeff, your You make a case.
But that's the whole point. I mean, that's the nature of this piece is why we end up doing multiple lines because you can't afford both Koepka and Cantley. You got to do, you have to choose. And then Reed is the opposite of Koepka, where if he could just get off the tee a little bit better, he'd be in a lot better shape. That's the one thing. He's so good around the greens. Maybe that's good for him on this course. I don't know. He's also done pretty well here.
Yeah, that's kind of what makes this event fun too. Is like if Bubba Watson's the all-time leader and Kevin Streelman is the all-time number 2. You know,
right.
That's a revealing statistic that speaks to a golf course that certainly can reward the power game. You got Dustin Johnson's defending champ. Bryson hasn't missed a cut. Looks all those top 10s you said, but you can finesse your way around this place too. So it does open up, I think, really the whole board in terms of daily fantasy for this week.
It does. Let's move on to the next tier because we've been going for a while on these upper tier guys. Paul Casey, 9,900, and also a great track record here. Scottie Scheffler, 96. Streelman, 94. When's the last time you saw him at 94? This is obviously course history going here. And actually recent form's been pretty good too. Wolfe at 9,300. You didn't, last chance to get a discount on him after last week. Finau 92, Ancer, your guy at 91, Neiman at 9,000. What stands out to you in this tier?
Well, Ancer, he's local. He's San Antonio resident like myself. So
there you go.
I'm contractually obligated to mention him. And he does continue to, more often than not, he's playing up to his price in these games. I do think Wolfe is tempting. Streaky player, the quirky golf swing, it's going to go in and out. But he got a taste of it last weekend, playing the last groups as he did. And I just think, I don't know, might be tempting. I'm tempted to jump on because I think he's got the game. He's won events before. I just think, like you said, maybe feels like last chance before he jumps a tier as he's getting back in from his sabbatical that he took and everything else. So I don't know. He's fun to root for. I like, I do as is my nature. I get sucked into narrative street sometimes with my pick. And Matt Wolfe is the narrative street pick for me this week, and so I'm putting him in my lineups.
Made his debut here too. So
didn't realize that.
Yeah, there's a lot of players make their pro debut here just because after the Open, no need to hold on to amateur status, so they jump right in after that. College season's over too. So it's perfect timing for that. There's the guy making his debut later. We're going to talk about later on. I like in this tier. I like Ancer also. I mean, I knew you would, but I also do too. We never talked Scottie Scheffler, I feel like, on this, and yet he's always there. He's just always there, and he's also in that rookie, same class. But last year didn't make the cut here, so there's no course history. But recent form is just so good with him. Yeah,
it's funny. I always jot down a few notes before we get on, but then I leave myself open to be persuaded by yourself and Jenstad when he's on the show.
Right.
And I actually circled Scheffler to be my one and done pick. And I just forgot to even defend him here in this.
Well, there you go.
I already in the last hour went from making him my pick to completely overlooking him. But you're right. He has never played this event, so he doesn't have the history that you can kind of start to stitch together a case for. But he's just playing really well, and another guy that you feel like is just like he's on the way up. Everything is heading the right way. Time to win one of these events, and why not now? He's got all this. I think he's 5 for 5 now in major championships with top 20s or top 25, something like that. I read a good stat. Just he's always around these big time.
He's a good player.
He's good. Time to win. I like him a lot at odds. I wrote that down. Scheffler. I don't have. I'll have to find it later. Oh, there he is. 25-1. I'm all over that. And why not now? Even for the DFS games as well. So
I'm with you on that. I'm with you. I like him too. Let's move on to the next tier. 8,000s, 8,900 for Bubba Watson. I think he's going to be really highly owned. Brian Harman, 8.8. Cam Smith, 8.7. Charlie Hoffman, your guy, 8.6. Siwoo Kim, 8.5. Your other guy, Justin Rose, there he is again, 84. Should have just brought him up then.
what's like the rule? How can somebody go from whatever I have to do to divorce myself from the my guy status? And I would like to go through those steps, whether it's here live or just afterwards. There's like a cleansing, thing you have to do
with everybody or just Rose.
Just Rose. That was the worst pick I've.
There's something Batser joke here. But I can't pull it off.
Yeah.
Russell Henley, 83. Harris English, quietly got into the top 5 there at the end, 8,200. Yeah. Leishman and Adam Scott, 81 and 8,000 respectively. Who catches your eye here?
Definitely English at 82. I mean, it's when in doubt. I think trying to just grab a hot golfer when you can and just try to ride the momentum.
Right.
I would have expected that number to be higher, just the way he played on Sunday. Bubba, like you said, I think everyone's going to start there in fantasy lineups. I see him at 50-1 though on golf odds. That is tempting as just a straight bet. But I think for me it's English off this year. How about you?
I agree. I think I think he's underrated. I think Harmon's another guy, although he's a little bit more expensive, is a guy I like. It's not the biggest hitter, but he's accurate. He just had one disastrous green on Saturday, actually, with that 4-putt from like 6 feet. But man, usually this guy's nails when it comes to putting. I think this is a course he probably sets up pretty well for. In fact, I got to look up to see what he has done to see if that confirms my priors. Missed the cut last year, but T8, T6 the 2 previous years. So, not always there, but I think Harmon's a sneaky guy too. I always tend to like him. Maybe it's because I'm left-handed, even though I golf right-handed, but I always favor some of the lefty golfers.
I haven't played golf yet, but I'm the same. I'm a lefty and I play golf righty. I didn't realize that.
Is it because your dad taught you?
Well, my dad says it was baseball first for me, and he says he put me on both sides of the plate and just said pick whatever feels more natural, and I picked hitting righty. So I must have been like 4 or 5 probably, and that's how it happened. That was it. So golf.
A lot easier to find right-handed gloves too.
Yeah, I'm happy I play golf right-handed, but for baseball, I think I would have rather hit left. I definitely would have rather hit lefty. So it was a trade-off. But I'm not playing a lot of competitive baseball these days. But so I'm happy to be a right-handed golfer.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Henley obviously got a lot of airtime this weekend after usually not getting so much. Unfortunately fell off. But what do you think about him at 83?
I don't know. I think just the finish of Harris English at 82. I think I'd rather go for the guy who's maybe walks out of the U.S. Open feeling great about himself and where he is than the guy who's just completely devastated about his first big opportunity in a major championship and having it just kind of blow up on it on Sunday. So I go English right there. I can't believe the price.
I'm with you on that. I'm also with you on that too. And English, remember, he also competed at the Palmetto. Struggled down the stretch on that one, unfortunately. But I like that. Let's move on to the next tier. There's some interesting names in this group here, the 7,000s. I'm just going to throw some names at you because honestly, we could go through all of them here. I am guaranteeing. I wrote down. Jeff will bring up one guy in this 7,000 tier. It's a cheap guy. It's as cheap as you've ever seen him. But I'll let you bring it up. The guys I like Keegan Bradley at 7.9. Also good experience here. I like Cameron Tringale at 7.6. Only negative is off the tee for me. I don't like shots getting off the tee. And Emiliano Grillo at 7.3. His shots gained approach is through the roof. And I think he will be very lightly owned.
Yeah, Grillo is interesting. He's another guy that like the numbers say one thing and the results say another. And so you wonder if he can just keep playing the way he is, if eventually the results catch up to the way he's statistically performing, right? There's a gap there. All right, let's see. Who do you think I'm going to say? I actually don't even really see anybody that just like leaps off the page. I guess
big name, not big results lately, although kind of if you squint, you can see some good. Well, in the very recent memory, he's had a couple of good results. Did not play last week.
All right. You want me to bring up Rickie? Is that it?
I thought you were going to bring up Rickie.
Yeah, I do think he's going to come out of this year. This is going to be one of those where you're probably just going to have to be a week late. I don't know how you can just keep picking Rickie over and over based on the results, but I just think at some point there's too much talent there that he's just going to. I don't think he's going to go like the Hunter Mahan route where all of a sudden you're just like, you see Hunter Mahan today. It's like, oh yeah, what happened to that guy? He was like the kind of
see him on Thursday sometimes. That's
once in a while. I can't see Rickie in that vein yet. So I think there's a comeback lurking somewhere there. I just don't know if this is the week though. Good for
impending fatherhood. We'll go with that angle there. And we use
he should probably try to get that win in before fatherhood, because those first 6 months are kind of like a rock and roll ride, late nights and
right.
So anyway, well, maybe he probably get some nanny help, I think. The
he can afford it.
Yeah,
just one Rocket Mortgage commerul will take care of that.
Probably. But. So yeah, I would watch him. I don't think I would put him in this week, actually. I think Grillo is interesting.
He is.
I also think where'd he go? I might keep an eye on Molinari. Another guy that just like kind of drifted ever since he splashed that ball in Rays Creek at the Masters in 2020.
I know.
Where did he go? Started playing well last week. So I don't know. Watch out for him too. I might drop him in a lineup or two.
Yeah, a direct correlation too. That's the thing that's kind of wild about that one there. Any other 7,000s? You interested in Phil? You interested in Max Homa? Anybody jump out off the page to you in the 7,000?
Homa's a guy that he's flashed. He seems to be a bit streaky, but maybe tempting there. I'm probably just gonna take a pass on Mickelson, although it's probably gonna go down as the most fun story of the year. I don't know that I can jump back in on Phil for DFS games for a while, but as a straight ticket, I don't know what his odds are offhand, but it's always fun to just bet him and just see what happens. But I think that's it for me in this tier.
I'll throw a couple more names at you. Doc Redman at 7.6. He's had some decent form recently. It was T11 last year. And then Chris Kirk also at 7.3. He hasn't played here. That's the one thing. He has no course history in the last 5 years. But at the same time, he's had some pretty good rounds at courses like this in the past.
Good pick. Yeah, Chris Kirk. Yeah, he's been. God, how many years has he been around now? He's had a ride.
Yes, he has.
That's a good one. I like that pick. I'm going down to the 6s though, and I'm starting to. Boy, it does get sparse. This does feel like one of those weeks you almost have to like build from the middle up if you can.
I've got one name in the 6s I like, but I'll listen to yours first.
So, I don't know how much I like him, but I enjoyed picking him up for my fantasy team in our league just in time. Was KH Lee. He's streaky. He's an all or nothing ticket, but the all can be a win. He's got a win this year, and I think he missed the cut badly at the U.S. Open, but it's someone that I like to toss in as a lotto ticket. I tossed him on my fantasy team as a lotto ticket, and it hit once this year. Beyond that, boy, I don't know. Maybe Wyndham Clark, maybe another guy whose stats are better than the results.
Yeah. And
that's about it for me, at least on this, as I scan through this. What about you?
I got one more, and you got to keep scrolling a little farther to find him. And it's a guy it's Scott Genstad's very own Vincent Whaley. 6,400
every week. Yeah,
every week he's there.
He's outperforming that though. He's outperforming that price.
Yeah, except for at the Palmetto, kind of went astray there. But this is a guy that he's doing a lot to earn his full-time status, and I think he's going to be there next year. But no course history again, so there's nothing to go on in terms of he's a horse for course. But I kind of like him as a cheapy guy. The other cheapy guy is making his debut, so we have no data on him really. Although he did play a couple of Korn Ferry tours the last couple of weeks, and that's Austin Eckroat from Oklahoma State. Big hitter, good putter. He's top 10 and top 15 in the 2 Korn Ferry events. I think he cashed also in an alternate event, like in the Dominican or whatever, last year. But that's it. He's at 6'6". He is Oklahoma State's obviously a monster program. I think he's an interesting guy. Sometimes guys in their debuts really don't.
Did you pick him up yet? Did you pick him up in our fantasy league?
I haven't yet, but I probably should.
I'll give you an hour, and then I might make a move since you.
All right.
I'm looking for somebody this week, so that's it. That's interesting. I did not notice him.
Yeah.
Should we go to the bets? Should we go to the? I hear your phone ringing. Do you need to take that? Is that
No.
Is it a car? Is it a car?
Unprofessional of me to leave the ringer on. Usually, I leave the one in this room off. But my wife also works from home, and I thought she'd pick it up, but I can't. I'm not going to throw her under the bus. It's my fault for not turning the ringer off. I usually rag on my co-host on XM, Chris List, for not doing that, not with his cell phone. But anyhow, bets. So if I'm going to bet on the top tier guys, I'm betting on Brooks at 14-1. I like him better than Bryson at 12-1, better than DJ at 12-1. If I'm going to bet on that tier at all, that's what I'm looking at. Patrick Reed actually is 22-1, and nobody talks about Patrick Reed every week. He's the unless he's cheating, and then everybody talks about him. But I like his. I like him a lot. Your guy that you don't want to get divorced from, Abraham Ancer, is at 33-1. I like that bet a lot too. Those are the ones that if I were betting, I'd go out. Maybe Harris English also. I see him at 40-1. I like that one too.
Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna stay there at 40-1. I'm looking at, what are you looking at? Are you golf odds or are you DraftKings?
DraftKings.
I always bounce over to golf odds. I should probably.
Okay. Well, that's good. It's good to have multiple sources. Right?
On golf odds, I show Matt Wolfe 40-1. I'm on it. Narrative Street. I'm driving the bus. And then thanks for reminding me about Scottie Scheffler, for bringing me back in. He is 25-1 on golf odds. I am all over that. And I will make Scottie Scheffler my one and done, my pick to win. The last time this week's Justin Rose pick of the week.
But this is a narrative. I think you're logical here, and I might be joining you.
Yeah. So Scheffler's going to be my the final answer. How about you?
You know what? I might go with you on that, but if I don't, I'm going to go Harris English. So right. I'm with you in spirit either way.
Take English. I feel it would be just better to promote this podcast later if we have two different picks. It also gives us greater odds that one of us is correct, and we can, impress the listeners that this show's picking winners. So
there you go.
English. I like that pick. I like that pick a lot.
Cool. Two narrative street guys I wanted to bring up. We haven't mentioned them yet, either for DraftKings or for bets. Guido. How can we not talk about a Guido? Guido Migliozzi.
Yeah.
Backdoor top 5, and then playing this week, and then MacKenzie Hughes tied for the lead on Sunday. Had a bad Sunday, but he had a good, really great run to that point. Also shot a 60 in the first round here last year at the Travelers. So
I didn't realize, I forgot all about that. Guido's fun. I just like Harris English. To try to catch the guys coming off and feeling good. MacKenzie Hughes, what was it, 5 missed cuts in a row before the U.S. Open?
Yeah, which they reminded him every time in every interview on NBC. It was wild.
Every time
you missed the last 5 cuts. How do you feel?
Here's MacKenzie Hughes playing the weekend for the first time in a while. Crack, as he's like hitting the shot, then the ball gets stuck in the tree. So I don't know. I'm probably off of Hughes, but fun to watch. Another guy easy to pull for after the weekend he had. So it'd be great to see him bounce right back and be in it again on Sunday.
It's kind of like on the last hole. No one's ever eagled 18 to win the Open. Okay, thanks. What are the odds of eagling 18 in any tournament, let alone like this? Oh, he's a big failure for not eagling, not holding out. What are you doing, Louis? But anyways, media criticism aside, I thought that was pretty funny. All right, some good stuff there. So your winner is Scottie Scheffler. I'm going to go Harris English to be, to be social here and have a second one going there. But if I'm going to pay up, I'm paying for Brooks. That would be the way I'd go that way.
All right. If I pay up, I'm going to go Bryson. I'm gonna just forget about Sunday afternoon and look at the first 3.5 rounds that came before it. So we
kick back and enjoy the rivalry. That's a good idea.
Yeah,
all right, that's going to wrap up this week. Jeff, thanks for jumping on here, and we'll get the voice of reason, Scott Jenstead, back next week. But I think we handled it all right for him. So hopefully everybody enjoyed. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe, rate, and review. Please send us comments. We really want to know, is there anything else you want us to bring to the table? Let us know. And between RotoWire, Morning Read, and SI Golf, we really want to promote this, get some traction. So let us know what we can do for you. Thanks again for listening. Have a great day.